It's frustrating how many times I have to try to make a video. I upload one to YouTube, and it takes like 6 hours to do that. And it's like, oh, you can't do that because it's too long because your account is not registered or something. I don't know. You guys couldn't have told me that like before I made a video like that, or when I was setting up my account. Okay, take 3. Action. So first thing that I wanted to talk about before we get down to business, we'll have to keep this short because I'm almost out of storage space, and apparently I can't go over 15 minutes for whatever reason, is my channel finally got discovered by someone that I know. He walked up to me very accusingly with a smirk on his face, and he's like, "You have a YouTube channel." I denied him, like, "Oh, no, what are you talking about? Of course not." And then he pulls up his phone, and he's like, "And that's not you!" And I'm like, oh. So I had to admit it then, because he had, I guess, picture evidence. He said he watched the first few minutes of it, and it wasn't as bad as he expected, so I'll take that as a compliment. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, I noticed that my last couple videos about pipes and stuff got a lot of popularity, a lot more than my other videos, because, you know, my other videos are pretty crappy as well. But if you want to see more of that, more pipes and pipe tobacco on YouTube, check out Four Eyed Piper. So shout out to him, because I know he likes getting shout outs. I only discovered him a few days ago, or maybe a week now, and he's been doing his thing for 5 months, and you know, he makes pretty decent videos from what I've seen, which isn't a lot, because a lot of his videos are, you know, his rule is he doesn't like to go longer than it takes him to smoke a bowl, unless it's a live stream, which, you know, can get up to an hour and a half or so, which I haven't seen the whole live stream from him yet. I've never watched a whole live stream from anyone even. So, like I said, shout out to Four Eyed Piper. If you like seeing that kind of stuff on YouTube, go check him out. I'll hopefully have it in the description below. Now, let's talk about mall ninjas versus sword collectors, because I feel like these really get they get mixed up a lot. First of all, what's a sword collector versus a mall ninja? Well, a mall ninja is someone who looks at a knife with like spikes and serrations and flames on it, and they think, oh, that's so cool. And then a sword collector is someone who collects swords because they're cool and practical. So the big differences between regular swords and mall ninja swords, or zombie knives as they're often referred to as, because a lot of them have like green paracord wrapped handles and are black. I don't know why that's such a colorful pattern. It's such a popular color scheme, but if you look at this Outbound right here, it's got the same color scheme. Green handle, black blade, which is a very popular choices of colors amongst mall ninja knives. Now, I don't consider this one mall ninja because it's not going for, you know, zombie. It's not called something like Zombie Slayer. Any knife or sword that has zombie in the name is likely going to be of terrible quality, and you shouldn't buy it. Unless it's by Zombie Tools. I think they make some pretty good stuff from what I've heard. But you'll notice a lot of zombie knives have paracord wrapped handles, which can be very handy in a survival situation. But a big old blade, like a machete made out of stainless steel, which is usually what they're made out of, 440 or 420A stainless, is not going to be terribly helpful because it's going to break. I don't know if you can see that, but this one broke while I was doing some work with it, which is why this is all shiny, because I ground it down to more of a drop point, and it's quite drop pointy. So, it's, I actually kind of like the colors. Call me a mall ninja if you want. I know my brothers do, because I like knives, I collect them. But I don't collect mall ninja knives, so I don't actually have any to show you because I just don't collect them. A lot of other mall ninja knives are just black and tactical looking, kind of like this thing, which you may have seen in my previous video. I didn't buy it because I saw it and thought, oh, look at the scary black pattern and colors. I bought it because it's a simple design. Straight edge. I like straight edges. I've got, I don't know, when it comes to folding knives, I don't like serrations. I prefer my straight edge. I don't know. It just takes away from the smooth cuttingness, I guess, of a straight edge. So I bought this because I was looking for a new EDC because my current one is wearing out, or I need to tighten some things. And I saw this and I thought, I've heard good things about Kershaw, so let's buy it. And I did, and it's pretty decent from, you know, what I've tested so far. Now, what differentiates mall ninjas from sword collectors? Because a lot of mall ninjas are sword collectors, but they don't collect historical or practical swords. Now, if you look at any zombie sword ever, it's usually black blade with the green handle, and it's usually of terrible quality. Just a pro tip for anyone who's considering buying any Mall Ninja-esque weapons, the types of people, I should say, who buy Mall Ninja or zombie knives are the types of people who end up hurting themselves with them. I'm sure we've all seen that video of the guy who's doing Fruit Ninja with the 2 knives, does that and cuts into his pinky. That's because the guy didn't know how to safely handle a bladed object, which is very important and you should learn if you're going to do Fruit Ninja. Although Fruit Ninja by itself is kind of a bad idea in real life anyway, because you can hurt yourself or someone else. Especially if you have a wall hanger sword. Now, a lot of these zombie swords are what the human community refers to as wall hanger quality, or maybe I'm the only one that calls them that. Basically, if you don't just hang them on the wall and you try to swing them in real life, the blade's probably going to fly out of the hilt and kill someone, because it's happened in the past. Maybe not killed someone. I haven't heard of any, well, I've never heard of any stories of that happening, but I've definitely seen videos of people swinging a katana, because it's usually a katana they buy, and the blade flies right out of the handle, and just, it's gone. My people need me kind of thing. And that's quite dangerous for obvious reasons, which I really hope I don't need to explain, because if I do, let's just say you're not the sharpest knife in the drawer, the sharpest sword on the rack. Okay, so I've seen a lot of gas station finds. Now, gas stations are notorious for carrying Mall Ninja weapons, and I kind of hesitate to call them weapons because they're so impractical, and if you're fighting someone who's got a jacket like this, because this is, well, it says 100% genuine cowhide leather on the outside, leather's pretty tough to cut sometimes. So if you've got a sword with these big round serrations, which I see a lot of on zombie tools, not specifically like zombie tools the group, but in general, Blade City is a great place if you want to see what Mall Ninja is like. They'll get things like foldable karambits with serrations, which completely ruins the point of a karambit, by the way. If you see a serrated karambit, it's like you take a cake and you put carrots in the cake. A cake is supposed to be unhealthy and delicious, and now you're adding carrots to it, and you're making it more healthy. So, when you add serrations to a karambit, it's like the one thing it's supposed to do, and that's a nice, clean cut, is now going to be not as nice and not as clean. It'll be more tearing than anything, because things and fibers are getting caught on the serrations in the blade. So, a lot of Mall Ninja weapons usually have, if you look at Wolverine claws. Wolverine claws are a very popular choice amongst Mall Ninjas. And they're usually just claws on this little handle, and, you know, the blades kind of fit in between your hands or your fingers like that, which are, they're not good, basically. I've seen a lot of these, and they don't hold up very well. A lot of what people test them against are, like, bed sheets, and you're like, oh, look at all the damage, or that's a lot of damage, but it's really not, because it's a bed sheet. It's cardboard you're cutting into. I mean, bed sheets and cardboard are separate, not bed sheets made of cardboard. And I don't know why people think that serrations on swords, or I've seen swords that are, you know, a solid thing with some big round serrations on it, and then it goes up to the tip, and separates into 2 different prongs. I don't know why people think that's a good idea, because those prongs are going to bend or snap because they're usually made of stainless steel, and stainless steel is not great for swords. There's a reason we use carbon steels, like 1095 for instance, for big meaty blades. 5160, stuff like that, depending on how flexible you want it. Some steels are a lot more flexible than others, but that's for another video that I may or may not do at some point. So, my point that I'm trying to get at here is anything that is considered Mall Ninja should not be anything that is from history. Any historic finds should not be considered Mall Ninja, because odds are, if they're a historic reproduction or a historic find, then they're probably designed with all practicality in mind. Now, I have seen gun axe integrations or GAXs, and they weren't very popular for various reasons. I think the main one was because you had to hollow out the handle to fit the musket ball inside, which would cause the handle to break, and now you just have a broken axe, which is useless, basically. You can still throw the head at people, but I also saw a big, meaty steel warhammer, and it was a big one. It wasn't, like, a long one, it was just, the head was really big because it had, like, 3 musket barrels in it, and you just push the musket balls down in there and would fire it. Stuff like that existed, but it was never widely used because it just didn't work out very well. There's a lot of extra stuff that you had to carry with you. Like, if you've got a saber, you put it in your sheath, and you have a pistol, and then you put that in its own sheath, and you don't have to have one giant weapon that weighs like 80 pounds. That's an exaggeration, of course. So, again, anything that's a historical reproduction or historic find, such as Spartan helmets that I have seen in gas stations, in pictures that people show me, don't count. To spot a mall ninja, it's very simple, and this is kind of how I'm going to wrap things up, because I've been going on for, 10 minutes now. Mall ninjas really like fingerless gloves. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they want to wear gloves, but they need their fingers to, like, load a gun properly, or to sharpen their swords, which wouldn't hold an edge anyway. When I see someone that's dressed like a mall ninja, my first thought is that guy's a mall ninja. But then my second thought is that guy thinks he's such a badass because he's head to toe in this black tactical outfit, which, varies from whatever the person's wearing. Ski mask or balaclava. He's got like 2 swords on his back, which you wouldn't really be able to draw anyway, depending on how big they were. And yes, you did sometimes carry swords on your back. Lindy Beige has made a video, Shadowversity has made a video on why you could do that. And Scalagrim has as well. But katanas were too long to carry on your back. Generally, you could get like a wakizashi and put that on your back, but it's just like a little dagger, so you might as well just put it on your hip. It's a lot easier to access than having to reach all the way around. So, to recap again, mall ninjas. Stuff that is completely impractical, usually has unnecessary dragons, fires, skulls, or, just paint that's not very well painted on, so it's going to come off easily, and is usually of really low quality. Sword collectors can sometimes buy, budget swords or wall hangers just for fun to hang on the wall, because that's what wall hangers are for. That's why they're called wall hangers. But a sword collector is not a mall ninja, and this goes, same can be said for knives as well. Knives like my Kershaw. If you own a lot of knives, you're not technically a mall ninja, or not necessarily a mall ninja just because you own knives. You're a mall ninja if you buy knives that have big old serrations or extra attachments and flashlights and all this that they don't need. You could easily have your own flashlight, and some people are like, well, I like having the mini portable flashlight on my knife because then it's just always there. But I don't trust multi-tools. I'm going to make another video on that at some point, why I prefer to just have a dedicated tool to this or that over something that's okay at a few other things. So, if you or someone you know is a mall ninja, or you suspect they are a mall ninja, well, there's not a lot you can do, really. You can take pictures and show your friends and laugh at them, or your friends might think they're cool, and Instagram and Facebook are some of the, I guess, best hotspots for mall ninjas. A lot of blades that you look at that and you're like, how do you use that properly? A lot of blades that are connected by a tiny little piece of steel, and steel is really strong, but it breaks. Everything breaks. Everything has a breaking point, and if you have a tiny little thin piece of steel holding the rest of a blade on, guess what? It's not going to stand up to combat or whatever you're using it for. So, that's my rant and ramble about mall ninjas versus sword collectors. Again, if you own a bunch of swords and knives and they're, practical, because practicality is the big thing for mall ninjas that they just don't seem to understand, then that doesn't make you a mall ninja. It makes you a mall ninja if you see a knife that's, got skulls and fires, or skulls breathing fires on it, and a bunch of jagged points and, extra bits on it that are just unnecessary and ugly. That is considered mall ninja, not historical reproductions. So, I hope this clarified something for some of you at least. We're just about out of time, so I guess I'll just wrap things up now, and as usual, thanks for watching.